Hey everyone, Future here, and today we're going to take a look at the Electro-Harmonix Pitchfork Plus pedal. Now this video will be from a bass player perspective, and it will be very much focused at distorted bass mostly, and trying to obtain a somewhat Royal Blood-like doubling style bass sound with a higher pitched guitar-like sound layered on top of a bass. There are timestamps in the video if you're just interested in the sound demos, so you can see a 4 or a 5 string sound demo. It's not the most complicated playing or anything, it's just to give you a bit of an idea of what it sounds like in different settings. And there's also a bit of a breakdown of this specific pedalboard arrangement I have going on here. And I also have a bit of a section about how the controls of this unit work, and a small bit of detailing about how the pitch shifting is achieved on this unit. So without further ado, let's take a look at the pedalboard. And if at any point you think this is not of my interest, I just want to hear some sound demos, just check down below and follow the timestamps. So let's quickly go over this pedalboard. Now the entire idea here was to get sort of a Royal Blood kind of sound, but on a very limited amount of space. And that's also the reason why I went with the Pitchfork instead of the Park 2 or the Micro Park even, because the nice thing here is that the Pitchfork allows you to split your signals in the box. So that's very nice. So what I have going on here is it's going into the sculpture way at the front. You can't see it, it's just out of frame. That's just a basic compressor and a signal booster. It's currently off as well, and then it goes into the Pitchfork. From the Pitchfork I have the effect output going into the Carcosa, going into the noise killer, and from the noise killer it's this cable going into my audio interface. And from the Pitchfork there's a second cable going underneath everything, coming out right here, going into the Dreadbox, and from the Dreadbox it's going to the audio interface as well. So I have 2 tracks running in my DAW, one for the pitch signal and one for the unpitched signal. So I have 1 panned hard left and 1 panned hard right. And if I bypass now, normally you wouldn't pan them this extreme, of course, because that's not the entire point of this, but that's just to make it a little bit more clear what's going on. So let's quickly go over the features of the Pitchfork Plus. On the side we have a main output. You can control the mix of the main output with these mix knobs. On top of that you have the auxiliary output. Then you have an expression pedal and an external control. And on this side you have the input. So right now all the sound you will be hearing is from the main input. And I have the dry turned all the way up, so right now you just get the dry bass sound. So let's turn down the dry and let's turn up the first pitch shifter. You can control the pitch shifter by pressing the pitch shifter button. So this is up 1 octave. And with the pitch selected you can change the value with this encoder. And when you have the encoder at the neutral position, it will go into detune mode, in which case you can click it and set your detune. For this I will dial in the dry as well. So you can get kind of a chorusing effect going on there. You have 2 pitch shifters which you can control individually. So let's put this at +1 octave. Let's get into the second pitch shifter. And Let's turn up the volume. So that's pretty cool. You can dial in dry and wet as you like. You can control your auxiliary out from here. It is set to in right now, so it simply bypasses your input signal, which can be useful for splitting. You can also output the dry signal, the dry in shifter 2, or everything, or just bypass. I like using in. Here you get your controls for your expression pedal. Here you get your controls for your user pedal. So right now it controls shift 1 on and off. And you can also set it to other options as well. With shift 1 on and off selected, if I press this, it will activate or deactivate the shift 1. If I were to dial in shift 2, I keep shift 2. Pretty neat bit of functionality right there. You can also set cross mode between 1 and 2, or the other way around. And you can set the amount of cross mode. The preset button allows you to select presets. Very simple. And with the latch button you can set the mode to either latch or momentary switch for the pedal controls. And that's basically everything there is to the pedal controls. So let's take a look at distortion with the Pitchfork pitch shifter. Now, pitch shifting is always a bit of a tricky business, especially when trying to do it live, because you have to adapt really fast if you want to have low latency. So the setup we have going on here is we have a bypass signal on the left, the Octavox by Eventide in the center, and the Pitchfork to the right. And the tone generator here is by system 1 feeding into the pedal. So all these are going through the Pitchfork. These are going through the auxiliaries. And this one is going through the Pitchfork itself. Right now I'm feeding it a triangle wave. Just to give you a quick demonstration. So that's the original sound. And that's the one on the left. And you can see the Eventide is following very closely, and the Pitchfork is kind of warbling around. I would say this is pretty good. You can see it goes from a C4 to a C5. That's going fine as well. But do notice what happens when we go to a bit more of a harmonic rich waveform. So let's go to square wave. Lovely little square wave here. You can see the Eventide Octavox really keeping up, although there is some interesting distortion going on here. Meanwhile, the Pitchfork is just completely falling apart for a sound demo. That's our dry. That's the Eventide. And that's the Pitchfork. Interesting thing to notice about the Pitchfork is that I had to apply minus 17 dB to get the same level. So it required quite a bit of a volume reduction. Let's do a sawtooth. And once again we can see the sawtooth on the Eventide. So there's a bit of like filtering going on here because it's a lot smoother. And the Pitchfork's just all over the place for the sound. Let me actually turn the Pitchfork up a little bit, because it does sound a lot thinner. And let's do a quick modulation here. So that's quite a dramatic difference. Now I'm not going to say that the Pitchfork is unusable, of course. It's very usable and it works pretty good on guitar, because guitar is of course a lot closer to a sine wave than a square wave. But I must say this difference is a lot bigger than I expected, to be honest. Now I don't own any of the Eventide pedals, so this is the VST. But from what I've read, the algorithm of the Octavox or the Quadvox is present in the pitch vector pedal or the H9 series. So in theory you could get this algorithm in a pedal, which does look a lot cleaner if it's completely the same algorithm. That being said, the pitch vector is roughly twice the price, and the H9 is about 2.5 times the price, so it's a very big price difference as well. So that's just a quick overview of the distortion on this pedal. I'll go through a few more waveforms just to give you a bit of an idea. So let's do a super saw as well. So in conclusion, what do I think of the Pitchfork Plus? It's a very capable pedal for the price. It has a lot of functionality with 2 pitch shifters, auxiliary outs. You have the expression pedal, external controls. There's a lot going on. The one thing to keep in mind is that it does have a very specific sound, because the pitch shifting is pretty messy with harmonic content. So definitely make sure to put this all the way in front of your chain to have the cleanest sound going into it, so you get the best results out. But even then, it's always a specific sound which either you like or you dislike. So there's a lot of coloration there. If you're going to play it clean or going to play it with a lot of reverb or delay, I would definitely recommend checking out some of the other demos as well, where they demo that sort of sound. I think it works pretty good, but you have to keep in mind that there is a flavor which you either like or dislike. So that's my Pitchfork video. It's been a long enough video already. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions about the Pitchfork or anything you would like to see, just let me know and I can see what I can do for you. For now, have a great day.